Oh,
Well,
let's do it.
Honestly, at the border, if they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to search your vehicle, I'd like.
she's a packed one. Ready for a nice 13-hour drive to Mexico?
12?
12?
Yes.
How do you feel about our drive so far?
I think it's gone pretty well, pretty smooth, with no clicking in the wheel, which is very nice. We have 9 hours, 14 minutes until we get to Ithaca. And I'm thinking, this is one of those times when I wish that I was a bit more of a loser and I didn't commit to these things, because I would love just to go straight home. But I'm sure it'll be great when we get there and be excited to do it. It's nice though. It's really nice reflecting, like 15 hours. Now I have to reflect on the things I did right to win, which is a really, really good feeling. And it would be a long time to think about, like, how did you mess up your tacky on the last set of stones and how did you lose and all of that. So nice to be able to think about that and have all positive thoughts. Makes the drive go by a bit faster. And of course, we're having some very important intellectual conversations along the way to help us through.
Moose Hooper of Barrie, Ontario, is the new champion. He is the world's strongest man, and he joins us now. Mitchell, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I just love getting that introduction. It's not getting old.
Well, let me start by saying congratulations. First time ever that a Canadian sits atop the strongman throne. How does that feel a few days later?
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's not for lack of talent in Canada in the past. It's just the one competition that for some reason we couldn't break through, and I'm pretty thankful to have been able to do that.
Your journey to the top, competition-wise, I mean, it's relatively rapid, right? I mean, you've only sort of been at these high-profile events for, what, about a year?
Yeah, my first competition was World's Strongest Man about 11 months ago. That was my first pro competition. And at the time, I had only done 4 strongman competitions full stop. So that was a bit of a surprise invite. I was super fresh, super raw going into that. I finished 8th there, and then I've done 9 competition 6 since. And I've been on the podium of each one, and I've won the last 5 of 6 shows now, so I'm atop the world.
All right, we've arrived at our first destination.
First 13 hours in. We're going to do a seminar here with Tim Paulson at CrossFit Palace, Ithaca. So it looks like a fucking awesome building. So let's see what it is. It'd be good to break up the drive, wake up a little bit. And my first event as World's Strongest Man. How good.
So these videos will be released over the coming days, weeks.
Yeah.
So from running marathons to like winning the world's strongest man, like how do you transition from that to that, and kind of why?
If you take it all the way back, when I was a kid, I played ice hockey. Then I had a big stint of golf. I could have gone to like a high school golf combo with Sean Foley, Tigers coach. Then I gave up golf and I went to American football. From American football, I went to bodybuilding, then went to marathon running, then went to strength sports. So if you take sort of the whole thing, it's sort of just the next thing I was jumping to, under the general attitude that with the clinic, if I'm telling any of you guys to do anything, say one of you are CrossFitters and you ask me something about the aerobic side of CrossFit, if all I ever did was strongman, I have very little authority and experience to be able to help you. I might know the theory, but you don't know how it feels. And so for me, I needed to feel everything I was asking someone else to do. We started with running, went to strength sports. I started powerlifting in Australia, won the national championship in about 6 months, and then started in strongman. I literally had 4 competitions before I was invited to World's Strongest Man last year. And if I wasn't invited to World's Strongest Man, I probably would have quit and moved on to the next thing, because I really had no idea how good I could be. And that was only 10 months ago. So thank God for that. But really, I think it's important to recognize that you can't both argue that I was genetically gifted to run marathons to almost qualify for Boston, and I was genetically gifted to golf really well, and I'm genetically gifted for strongman. Like, of course, there's certain traits that are useful, but just really consistent effort. I don't miss a day at the gym. I get everything generally right. Most people who you hear go like 10 out of 10 commit, even at the pro level, they'll go 10 out of 10 commit for the 6 weeks before a show. Where like, I go 8 out of 10 commit for 52 weeks a year for a decade. And I don't find it particularly challenging. It's just what I do. And my training philosophy is good enough every day. I never ask myself to do anything great. And it's all in the context of the day that I'm having. But in short, I'm very, very lucky to be able to have the muscle insertions and the joint sizes and all that to be able to. But consistent effort, never missing a day, getting the important things right, all of the stuff that I taught you, and not stressing myself out with all of the like 2% stuff that comes out to be bullshit in 2 years anyway. It allows me to really enjoy it, and I think that helps me along the way as well.
Do you actually not take rest days?
No, of course it.
Oh.
I have a scheduled day at the gym. Yeah. No, I train 5 days a week, 2.5 hours on average, most of which is just loading the plates onto the bar. Big hassle. But yeah, and there'll be times that I'm scheduled to lift a couple times a week. Like this week, I did a bodybuilding session yesterday, and I might train maybe Thursday and Saturday, but no, certainly not at the gym every day. Yeah.
I've heard you talk about using the strongman as a platform to help elevate your platform. So I'm curious, what's next for you?
Yeah, it's really hard. I keep getting asked that by different radio stations and news stations and whatnot. Like, are you going to defend your title? And I'm just having a lot of fun with it. Like, it's such a good group of guys. And then the bigger the platform, the more you can get back. So the new merchandise I have, which has just been absolutely ballistic over the past little while. This is one of the shirts, and the other one's just sort of more of a basic lift heavy be kind thing. Taking 20% of that and giving it back to gyms, local gyms, independently owned gyms, and trying to continue to grow the strength community. Because I think the same way that CrossFit took off, strongman could take off, and every fitness avenue that's taken off in the past 10, 15 years, it's all been because it's community based. And most of the people coming here to the classes are not coming because Tim's awesome, even though Tim's awesome. They're coming because it's like, and they commit because it's like, it's my 8 o'clock class. It's like all my mates, all my friends are here. How could I not come? And I hope to be able to instill that in more and more people, because someone who could come be successful early at CrossFit is not someone who could be successful early in strongman, and vice versa. But if you take a small, slender person, there's a lot of CrossFit stuff that they could do day one. If you take a large, overweight person, they'd come in here and be mostly useless and sort of try to participate in a way. But you could be successful in strongman very early, and you could be relatively strong and experience positive association with exercise then. So for me, it's growing strongman, it's growing my clinic, and continuing to sort of get the truth out there, if you will, of like, okay, I'm #1 in the world, and I'm telling you, all I do is worry about sleep, nutrition, and my life stress in terms of recovery. And I have a full-time job. I have 2 full-time jobs, and it's really not that big of a deal. So if you take my goals of being #1 in the world, you boil that down to your guys' goals of like living healthy, living for a long time, living pain-free, performing as well as you can in the CrossFit Open or whatever it may be, then it gives you some context of how, so long as you're consistent, you don't need to interrupt your whole life. And if we can drop the barrier to accomplishing a lot through exercise and through movement, then that it seems more achievable, it is quite achievable, and more people will aspire to do that.
Frick yeah. Yes. Yes.
Of course.
Congratulations, bitch.
What'd you do? Mate, that's so cool. Is that good? I love that. Wow.
This is Moose Country.
There you go. That's fantastic, mate. So good.